Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast. I have a really exciting guest today, Dave Chaffey, and Dave is going to be sharing his mindset wisdom with us. He's the owner of Smart Insights, who help their members improve their digital marketing skills and businesses. Dave is the creator of Smart Insights RAC Race Marketing Planning System, and he's also the author of 5 best-selling books on digital marketing, including Digital Marketing, Strategy, Implementation, and Practice. Dave's known for his advice on digital trends, innovation, and best practice, and he's been recognized by the Chartered Institute of Marketing as being one of the 50 most important marketing gurus worldwide who have shaped the future of marketing. Wow, this is amazing. And I'm really looking forward to finding out more about your journey and how you've created the success that you have using your inner game, your mindset, your thinking. So welcome, Dave, to the Entrepreneur's Inner Game podcast.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you and hello to everyone who's joining us today.
So, Dave, I'd love to know how you've got to this stage of your success. And obviously you've implemented, you've marketed, you've done all these wonderful practical things. But I'd love to know more about your inner game, your mindset that's led you to this point. Because every business owner, they have setbacks along the way, don't they? And sometimes it seems really tough and, will they make that breakthrough? So what's your mindset been on your journey?
I think patience would be the watchword. We often hear about these very fast startups, and I think they're not. It's not often the case that really you should be in it for the long game. And my mindset was that there'd be a long evolution. So I've always felt I wanted to launch a company because got that very nice recommendation there from the Chartered Institute of Marketing about the marketing gurus. I think that was back in 2004. But despite having those sort of testimonials and credentials, I think there always is that nagging doubt or maybe lack of confidence. So perhaps that's why I took a long time. I was really waiting for like a spark or innovation in setting up the business. Something perhaps too revolutionary. But in fact, when we launched Smart Insights, it was an evolution of the training and consulting work that I'd done with marketers. We focus on digital marketing. That's our thing, helping businesses plan and manage their digital marketing. So I was fortunate a long time ago to set up a book agreement with Financial Times, Pearson Education, as it was. So I published my first book in 2000. I have to think back how long ago it was, and I've been fortunate having the support of the publisher to update those books every 3 years or so to help share the word. So I think my big driver is actually not money; it's more helping other businesses and helping individuals learn, because there's such a challenge with digital marketing. There's so much to learn, and the goalposts are moving all the time. So really my passion was all about education and training. So eventually what I saw we could do is we could use the web as a platform to go from that training of groups and individuals through consulting to helping people online. So what I did was to take my consulting process, which is the RACE system that you mentioned, and we were able to package that up in terms of templates on Word and Excel and PowerPoint and make them available online. And it's been really nice to see. I'm based in the Midlands, and from the Midlands we now these resources are used by customers in over 120 countries worldwide. So yeah, quite a long burn since 97, 2000 when I got started, but hopefully you can see the idea of patience and persistence here.
And when you expanded your company, did you have any fears about that? Did you have any fears about visibility, about marketing yourself? Because when we're business owners, we are marketing ourselves, aren't we?
Yes, very much so, because I think a lot of business owners, they'll be, as a startup, they may not have that much experience directly of certainly owning a company or being in the sort of position of the management and the finance. So there's all those practical issues as well. And I think for me, I was held back by sort of looking way back. I was involved in developing systems with a team of 10, 15 people. And I got to see the challenges you have with, again, practical challenges of recruiting people to a team. And of course, everyone's different and you want to keep them on board with what you're doing. So you've got those sort of day-to-day management challenges there as well. So there's so many, I guess, things that could go wrong. That's what was sort of holding me back. And then in our area, of course, and today this is even more the case, there's so much free content and quality content available for competitors. So there's always that question, which gap in am I filling? What can I do to differentiate, to make our offering better?
And how did you overcome any fears that you had?
Well, I think for me, it was, again, what I always previously done, and many of the guys on the call today are probably involved with. If you're attending events within your industry, I was lucky to have a lot of opportunities to speak. Then that gives you the confidence, because you get the immediate feedback from people you talk to at an event, through networking as well. So for me, I think participating in events of all sorts, whether they were local branch meetings of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, talking to other marketers, or more national events based down in London and conferences.
So this is really how to build up confidence, by getting out there, networking, speaking, and really getting that immediate feedback from people that what you're saying makes sense. There's some interest in what you're saying. And that just has a cumulative effect then, doesn't it, with your confidence?
Yes, that's right, Nina. I'd really recommend it anyway as a tactic to grow your business. Having there's so many opportunities, whether it's locally, nationally. Of course, there's podcasts and webinars. Again, those have all been really important to sharing and people learning from advice. And I think whatever sector you're in, there's those sort of events and webinars available. So yes, it does really help with confidence.
And when you have had a setback, because we all have setbacks from time to time, sometimes, we do a promotion or a launch or some activity and we don't get the result that we were hoping for. When that's happened to you, how have you managed to get past that? How have you managed to pick yourself up and keep going?
Yes, everyone has setbacks. We're fortunate not to have had too many financial setbacks, because from an early stage we were bootstrapping, and we didn't grow the team until we were already a profitable business. So there was never really any issues in terms of cash flow or paying staff, which I think for me is one of the, that's one of the biggest worries in business, that you're making a commitment to your employees. So most of the setbacks we've had are more, as you said, about missing perhaps monthly targets or a campaign, bombing, not working as well. I think for myself and Stu Miller, my co-founder at Smart Insights, and you guessed this from the name of the business, it's really just drilling down into the reasons what may have gone wrong. So there's plenty of information available in terms of analytics, and we've got systems for collecting customer feedback. So we'll try and find the root cause of the problem. I think apart from that, it's really just throwing yourself in and working that bit harder. So it actually acts as a driver to work harder, to do better next time as well. But as I said, we haven't had any huge problems, but it's been a spur to do better, I think.
So it's learning from what didn't work and applying that learning. So next time it can be easier, it can be better, maybe quicker.
Yes, as simple as that.
Yes. And this is interesting because when something doesn't work, sometimes, we can say, oh, that means that I'm not cut out for this, or I'm a loser, I'm a failure, it's never going to work. But instead we can turn it around and saying, actually, what can I learn from this? This is actually a gift for me. And then,
Yeah.
making sure that we can, apply those lessons and move forward.
Yeah, so it's interesting you use the word gift there, because one of the best business books I ever read, and this relates to the sort of mindset of the entrepreneur as well, is I think the book title I'm thinking of was something like every complaint is a gift. So in business you are going to get negative feedback, of course, and particularly in the early days. When you're representing the business, it's all too easy to take that personally, and that can really get to you. But if you see those customer comments and feedback as a way to learn and grow the business, that's making a positive out of a negative, if you like. So I'd really recommend that book, and I've shared it with other people in our team as well.
And when it comes to business growth, that's one thing, but personal growth is another thing, isn't it? And running your own business gives us so many opportunities to grow in our own personal space. And looking back during your entrepreneurial journey, is there anything you would say to, the business owner who started off, how many years, 20, 21 years ago, that you could see now that, you couldn't see 20, 21 years ago? So someone who's starting their business journey, is there any advice you could give your younger self?
Yes, I think to me it can seem daunting to have big targets. We're all taught to have these big, hairy, audacious goals, as they talk about in larger businesses, and you can think, well, will I ever make it? Will I ever get there? But my mindset is really about just growing the business one person at a time. Or in the sense of web marketing, you can see the visitors to your site, and every visitor is an opportunity to introduce people to what you can offer, but also to have conversations as well. And the same's true on social media. So for me, being very responsive and just discussing things with contacts on LinkedIn has been a really successful way to make it human. And I think related to that as well, and going back to what we were saying about networking before, there's a lot of talk at the moment about influencers, and often it's difficult as a small business to find people who are influential in your sector or celebrities to represent you. But that's another advantage of spending a lot of time at events, because you'll meet co-speakers, and as you're networking, you'll meet people from all sorts of different backgrounds, and following through on those relationships, I think is so important. So in a nutshell, you just can't attend too many events, as long as they're and I mean face-to-face events here, as long as they're the right type of audience for your business, of course.
And how about let's talk about value, because often, we have wonderful services that transform people's lives. And yet so many business owners doubt their own value, and they worry about charging what they what they want to charge because they think people won't pay me that much, and therefore they bring their prices down, they cut down their value. Is this
Yes,
something you come across?
yes, I certainly can relate to that. And I think when we launched our service, we pitched it quite low compared to, say, a training event. You think a training event might be £500, $500, euros even. And our introductory price for access to all of our resources for a full year was actually around 200 pounds, dollars, euro, and what we were offering was much more value than that because a lot more than a single training event. So I think I would say to my younger self, you can be more bullish, and if you look to what our competitors were charging, then we probably should have been more bullish as well. But like many businesses, we followed a trajectory of increasing fees. And what we've actually found is as we've effectively doubled or even tripled the fees now for access to more content, it hasn't actually affected the conversion rates to our paid subscription that much. So certainly, I believe we undercharged initially for the value we offered. So I think there's probably a learning there for the listeners to be a bit more confident, a bit more bullish.
And in regards to digital marketing, there is so much digital marketing we can do, and there's so much overwhelm. What would be your number one tip to someone who has a business and they're looking around all these bright, shiny objects, wondering what they could really do that would add value to their business in terms of the vast choice in digital marketing strategies and tactics and options out there? What would be your top tip for someone in that quandary around digital marketing?
Yes, you're right, Nina. There are so many shiny objects. I think it was Jeff Bezos who said that. And what he actually said was, obviously, you need to focus and not be too distracted, not be like a magpie, I think it was, he said. And it kind of bugs me that, I mean, it's nice that people ask, but people say to me, what's the next hot thing? What's the next big thing in marketing? And the answer might be something like artificial intelligence or machine learning these days, but the reality is that's not what's going to make you successful. It's getting the basics right. So the top tip, or two top tips really, one, to have a plan, because we see so many businesses, whatever their scale, don't really have a good plan for prioritizing the digital tactics when there's so many available. And when it comes down to it, most businesses, perhaps apart from brands like consumer brands, it does come down to the quality of content and knowing the search engine marketing tactics, whether that's organic or paid search. That's really what's going to make you successful. If we look at our own business, we get around, I think the latest is about 500,000 unique visits to our site every month. So that's what drives our growth across all those countries. But 80% of those are from organic search via Google. So if we hadn't put our expertise, and I had personal expertise in that, we would be a fraction of the size of what we are now. So potentially the guys on the call may be missing out on search marketing, whether it's paid or natural, because it's very hard to get right and it is competitive, and you really have to keep working away at it.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. And what's your number one top mindset tip for entrepreneurs as they're going along their journey to grow their business?
I think it's that resilience and confidence that we've talked about, and as I said, for myself, it's really attending events that's given me that confidence, because I've been fortunate. So many people have, often it'll be students or professionals who've been reading my book, but they've come back and said, your book or your advice has really helped me in my career. And while not everyone may have books, they will get that feedback and recommendations. So take every bit of feedback, and even if it's negative, treat it as a positive, as we said before.
Brilliant. And what's the best way for our listeners, our viewers, to find out more about you and your work?
Well, we're fortunate to have the .com site, so it's smartinsights.com, or you can, if you Google me, Dave Chaffey, very happy to connect on LinkedIn and answer any questions there as well. We update very regularly on LinkedIn. We've got free templates available on Smart Insights to help with these challenges of digital strategy and search marketing. So if anyone's grappling with those sort of tactics or is looking for a plan, our templates could help there.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your wisdom about mindset, and also digital marketing. And interesting enough, offline marketing as well, networking and getting yourself out there, actually talking to people, and using every piece of feedback as a way of learning and growing.
Yes, that's right, Nina. It's a multi-channel world. So yeah, thanks so much for the questions, and I hope the listeners can take something useful to boost their own mindset.
I'm sure they will. And for everyone who's been watching and listening, thank you so much for joining us today. Till next time, bye-bye for now.